Welcome to Dirt Millionaire Podcast. I'm Jim Neville, and we're going to talk vans, units, and growth today, which is basically what everybody wants to talk about. You saw in the last video, we are getting the vans up to scratch. Every van's got a heater in it now. So current PCS exterior cleaning, I've got 4 window cleaning heated vans that could have up to 6 workers in, and then we've got 1 roof van or pressure washing van. The problem with the pressure washing van is that it just sits outside the unit for 95% of the time, and you think, what a waste of a van. And it's a big old beast and no one likes driving it, and it is just good for pressure washing, where you can turn up, put all the scaffolding in, put your pressure washer in, you know, and all your hoses and the bin, and we've now got a tank to go in there. And you just think, it seems to be a waste of money, you being 95% sitting outside the unit not working. So the question is, do you sell that heap of junk and buy another like transit van that we've got? And all my vans going forward are going to be yellow, keeping with the branding. These are the new t-shirts done by Rich Collins at B&I Shop Bowl Clothing, nicely embroidered PCS logos. The other colours are black and gold, and they look quite good as well. Use them for B&I meetings. So getting back to it, would it be better to get a new yellow transporter van and put a smaller window cleaning tank in the back, say a 350 litre window cleaning setup, electric hose reel at the back doors, and put a 350 litre tank with a skid with the pressure washer on, everything like that, on the side door, with the hose reels and high pressure reel on the side door as well. I know people are going to say about weight. The only point where you'd ever have like 700, you're never going to have 700 litres of water in it, because you wouldn't need to. The maximum you'd have is maybe 500 litres, a little bit of pure water when you're doing the pressure washing, and then the pressure washer tank's getting filled by the customer's tap. Or the other way around, it could be window cleaning and you wouldn't need any water in the pressure washing tank. So I think that could work. The other problem is, will it work for, we haven't got another van's worth of window cleaning at the moment. So where everybody's at capacity now, so moving forward, I'm going to stop saying as well. In that last video, like a parrot, we're going to try not to say anymore. We'll say so instead. So, do you buy the van without the work being in place, thinking that you're going to get more work and you're going to be out canvassing, you're going to be out using your leaflets, bearing in mind it's rubbish time of year as well. You know, Facebook leads have dried up. You know, there's not much coming in full. You know, we still get jobs. There's still 15, 20 new jobs a week, but they're organic, or they're coming from old leaflets. They're coming from B&I. They're coming from areas, not from like a Facebook campaign, because I think Facebook is rubbish this time of year. Until about February, I think it's going to be very slow. Or do you wait until you've got, say, half a van's worth of work? So we aim for £2,000 a week per van. If you get the new van, you could start it now with no work in that new van, or you could buy it when you've got £1,000 a week, so £4,000 a month. Or you wait until you're full at £2,000 a week, or £8,000 a month. Yeah, £8,000 a month turnover for that van. The only problem with waiting till £8,000 turnover a month is that £8,000 until you buy that van has got to be done in the other 4 vans. They're already at capacity, so it's not really going to work. I think that's what we're looking at. So I think that you either take the plunge, which is what I'm thinking to do, is take the plunge, buy a new van now that is going to be used for pressure washing, but mainly for windows, that one man can work out of, and they have the capacity to do up to £2,000 a week out of that, and then take some of the work from the other vans to fill that van up a little bit. And then obviously I'm going to have to get out canvassing. I went out canvassing the other day and I used to, why don't I do this full time? Because I've got the rest of the business to run. Anybody can be a window cleaner. Being a window cleaner is actually the easy part of this job. The hard part, I said again, the hard part is running a business. I saw it on the Uncleanables podcast, and I think Ryan said exactly the same thing. It's easy being a window cleaner, going out doing £400 or £500 a day. What's hard is managing people, managing staff, managing multiple vans, units. That's the way to go. Just managing everything. We're also going to talk about units later on and growth through. So if you go through £8,000 a month, so currently we should be doing £32,000 a month in the 4 vans. So when you get the new van, you'll be going up to £40,000 a month, which is another £8,000 on top, £2,000 a week. And then we have all of our roofs and stuff like that for next year. So at the moment, roughly at capacity, we're doing about £400,000 a year, and then up to the next van will take you to £500,000 a year plus roofs and pressure washing. So you could be at like 550 maybe, or 600. That is the next step though, isn't it? Is to get just to grow one more van. But the pressure point is that one more van, one is going to cost you between 10 and 20 grand to get a van. It's going to cost you another 4 or 5 to fit it out. Even if you spread that on a monthly cost, you'll be looking anywhere from £300 to £400 a month, including the kit, to add that on. Probably a little bit more actually, probably about £450 for all that kit that I want. But we've now got partners that we work with very well. We're doing some work with Darren at PWS, pressure washing firm, and he's going to be coming onto the podcast end of this month, start of next month. And we're just preparing for the show that's coming up in April. But if he sorts out our pressure washing side, Tom from CleanLink sorts out our window cleaning side, installation that is. I've got Tom and John from CleanLink coming down tomorrow on Friday to sort more stuff out in vans and to fit a tank in the big van we've got at the moment. So the big white van that nobody likes to drive, we've got to sort that out. So I think that's a decision that we've got to make going forwards. But also, is it the wrong time of year to do that? Probably. Is it probably to wait till March? But if we wait till March, that's when you're getting busy. I think you need to start at least January, get your vans all sorted. So the new van, so it's a new yellow transit van, get that sorted, get everybody in it, get it doing some work per week. And then when March hits and we go mental, like last March till July, August, we were adding between 100 and 175 customers a month. That's going to happen again. And then the roofs start coming in, the pressure washers start coming in, the gutters and fascias start coming in. We get gutters and fascias now, but the more spring clean side of it comes in. And you can add another third onto your revenue in those months. So the next van will be used more because there will be more work about. And then it gets you the growth needed. If you're growing, small company, and being realistic here, I want it to grow by 4 vans a year in 2026. If you add another 4 vans to my four current vans, that's 8 vans. 8 vans doing £8,000 a month. 8 is 64. 64 grand a month. That's that would be roughly 800,000 turnover. That's where we want to be end of 2026. So to do that, I think we're going to need some investment, some capital. You're going to need a lot more effort, and we're working a lot more. There's much more involved in doing that. So if you were being pessimistic and you said, well, in 2026 I'm going to add 2 vans, so from taking 4 vans to 6 vans, so you're going from 400,000 to 600,000 in that next year plus extras, I think that's much more achievable. And also, can I find that work? Yes, I think it's achievable to find another 16 grand a month than it is to find another 32,000 a month. And that would mean that you're still on track for the growth. You're not hitting. I said by the end of 26 I wanted to be turnover 1 million. That still could happen, but being pessimistic and seeing different types of year, we've had some problems with staff, but old staff leave, new staff come in, and then you get all the teething problems with new staff. New staff that are not used to the job, and they think, oh, that's clean, and it's not up to PCS standard, or they break something or whatever. That's going to happen. I was talking to Simeon from Fort Cleaning, who we do some business with, and he was like, you expect that for 6 months. Now, I wouldn't say 6 months. I think it's quite a long time. I had my last 2 lads who were new starters, not cleaned windows before, and they were ready and doing work at my standard, PCS standard, within 3 months. At the end of 3 months, they were out every day doing between £400 and £500, no complaints. So I think that the guys I've got started last week, by January, end of January, there should be no complaints, between 400 and 500 each per day. So that leads on to growth. Now, you saw in the last video, we were looking at a unit. We've put an offer in on that unit, and we're hopefully going to keep this unit we're in currently, which is a very small unit. That's like 500 quid plus VAT a month. It's just basic, but it has the 4 office staff in here, some part-timers, me and the office manager are in here full-time, and then that new unit is 4 times the size of this unit, double level. It's the mezzanine level at the top as well. We could produce our own water from the new unit, which would save money. We can get all the staff in the office space that's there, that's separate, heated, air conditioned. You've got enough room for storage. You could even rent some of that storage out to other companies. You've got a whole mezzanine floor that is good for like a staff area, more storage. We could even put the podcast up there. But if we're going to have both units, this current one that we're sitting in, we're doing some business with podcasting manufacturers, and they're going to turn this into a proper podcast studio, of which we want the Millionaire Podcast to be the biggest windy exterior cleaning podcast in the world. That's what we're aiming for. It's going to take a long time to get there, but if that's what we're aiming for, we might as well have the best kit, the best cameras, the best layout. Looks professional. When people come and visit, they're in a proper podcast studio. What Ryan and Dan have done at the Uncleanables podcast is great, but that is also in there in Curbside's office space as well. It's on one of their levels of Curbside towers, and that's great if you can get it all together. With this is very close together. It's just literally opposite sides of the street. But the new premises has got 6 car parking spaces outside, plus you could get 2 vans, 1 to 2 vans inside, plus the storage for the water container. So at the moment, I've only got 3 car parking spaces officially outside. So if you had car parking for 7 on the new unit and the one here, that's car parking spaces 10 car parking spaces. So even 2025, 2026 into 2027, it's unlikely before summer 2027 that we're going to exceed 10 vans that are kept here overnight. And I had a lot of people say, well, why don't you take the vans home? Why don't the boys take the vans home? We used to do that. Nearly every van went home. Now 3 of the 5 vans we've got are electric, so they need to be kept here for charging. And 1 of the 2 cars we've got, quoting cars, is electric, so they stay here. So at the moment, there's 4 vehicles that need to be kept here overnight. And currently, only 1 of my staff takes the van home at night time. So at night time here, there is 6, sometimes 7 vehicles outside my 3-bay office, which is upsetting neighbours, and we need to change that. So we have put an offer in over there. It's a long lease, and they've got we want a 3-month rent-free period, so that we can do some alterations, install all of our kit. They've got a stairwell up to the mezzanine that needs some work, stuff like that. I said, again, really got to stop that. So if we're granted that, we can move in there as soon as. We'll be in there by end of November, and then we can start work on the podcast studio here. But what people might not know is that it takes a lot of capital to do this. You can't be, my parents used to call it hand to mouth, and I think a lot of window cleaners live hand to mouth, and you can't, if you're wanting to grow, you can't live hand to mouth. You need to be all over your figures as a business owner, not as a window cleaner, as a business owner. You need to know what your balance sheet is, what your profit and loss is. You need to know, what's coming in, exactly what's coming in and what's going out. And all those hidden, I heard Smelt talking about, Jake Smelt talking about it the other day, that when he got with his missus, she went through all his bank statements and stuff like that, and found direct debits for things he didn't even know he had. We want to avoid stuff like that. We want to know exactly what's going out. And say, if you do round figures, you turn over 30,000 a month, and your expenses and salary and outgoings are 25 a month. At least there's £5 profit. Once you paid VAT, tax, everything else equaled out over the year, there's profit there. But if you're living hand to mouth and you're turning over 30,000, you haven't got any profit to invest anywhere else. There's no profit to go to new unit, new vans. You're taking everything out on finance, which means finance is a good way. We do lots of finance. I've got lots of deals out there for equipment, for vans, for lots of things. It's a great way. And using these Klarna and ClearPay apps, PayPal apps, are brilliant of spreading the cost, so it's not so much up front. But when you're doing bigger purchase, like a new van, and altogether you're spending 20 grand, do it on finance, because it'd be silly to take 20 grand out of the business when you could be using that on other things like marketing and things that you actually need to pay for. If you spread that 20 grand over 4 or 5 years, that could work out at £300-400 a month, £500 a month tops, which is much more manageable. I think that's definitely part of a growth plan. That yes, you need some capital, you need to be making profit, you need to not be living hand to mouth, and you need a place to work from. So one of the workers that come to work for us recently said that the last company he worked for, which was a window cleaning firm that I know of, there was no premises to come back to every night. So every single day, all of my staff meet here in the morning, can have a coffee, have a chat in the office. I said again, they get their sheets on their iPad and then go to work. They finish their day, they come back to the unit, put whatever vehicles on charge, talk to Caroline, hand over the money, update the sheets, make sure everything's what we've missed or anything like that. Any problems with any customers, and we sort it out. And if you've got to go back to a customer, it's part of our contract now. If you have upset a customer, you haven't cleaned the window right,